Hey CSM leaders, this is the video for the recap of this past Sunday. Just a reminder that this Sunday is going to be the brother-sister event. So event's obviously going to look very, very different, but it's going to be super fun. So hopefully you guys have a lot of fun stuff planned out with your brother-sister. I feel like with middle schoolers, it's bound to be awkward, but that's where us leaders need to come in and make it not awkward. But this morning in middle school, we talked about Ephesians chapter 3, verses 14 to 21, and we were talking about prayer and the power in the Christian life comes through prayer, how power in the Christian life comes through prayer. And we just see how that's kind of like a general theme in this passage. And we're talking about just the context of Paul and how like he's in like some pretty bad conditions. You know, he's in jail, he's probably cold, he's hungry, all this stuff, but still he was able to still encourage believers to pray. And it's interesting kind of how it kind of starts off in verse 14, how he bowed his knees before the Father, and just kind of how we're taking this stance of reverence before God, but also understanding, even in verse 20, this is kind of our main takeaway, but how it says in verse 20, now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all we ask or think. And just seeing how God is able to do so much, but how in our life, Christ wants to give us power. Christ wants to give us strength to be able to persist through grace, to just like discharge our duties as believers, but also to like resist temptations and endure persecutions. But how like we can't do any of that on our own strength, and that's where we need Christ, and that's where we need Christ's power, and like the strength is that power that comes through the Holy Spirit through faith. And that's kind of what we were looking at this morning, just looking at the power of prayer and how prayer is definitely something in our life that needs to be central. So this week, kind of just as you're talking about prayer, just with your brother or sister, it may be good to just identify maybe different ways that like people have prayed, or kind of how they thought about praying, but also how we can just kind of instill more of a culture of just going to prayer and understanding that like we need Christ's strength to get through specific things in life. So, and now again, we'll tie it back up to verse 20. Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all that we ask or think. So that's kind of the takeaway. If you guys have any questions, shoot me a message, shoot me an email. But yeah, I'd love to just kind of just hear if you guys have any questions. The podcast will be up soon. So thanks leaders. Have a great brother-sister event.